Being a new dad means you get a lot less time to game. Should you play the re-release of Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance on the Xbox with what little time you have? Let's find out. Hey, I'm Sam with Systems of Impact, and I help dads who enjoy gaming but have very little time take the guesswork out of what to play so they can go back to their families recharged. I have fond memories of the Xbox. Being able to go and play Halo up to 16 people all in the same area, you were basically looking at essentially a LAN party back then. And having that ability to play a game with each other, all just, yelling and screaming and getting mad at each other, some of those are some of my fondest memories. And when Dark Alliance came out for the Xbox, it was couch co-op, something that was very prevalent back then. And Dark Alliance actually came out on both the Xbox and the PS2. I originally got it for the Xbox at that time. And so for today, we're looking at a 4K re-release of the original game. What was really weird about this game was that there was no marketing of any kind. You have Dungeons & Dragons Dark Alliance coming out here in June. So this particular re-release actually got zero marketing. I only knew because somebody pinged me and says, hey, the Dark Alliance re-release is coming out, and I was like, oh, cool. So I went and checked it out. Now, it originally released on May 7th, and it was for the hefty price tag of $29.99. So we'll actually get to that point a little later on in the video. But it's available for the PS4, the PS5, Xbox One, Xbox One S, Xbox Series S, Xbox Series X, and eventually Switch and PC. Those are coming in at a later date. So I'm going to start off with the things I don't like about this particular game. And the primary thing is it's just a re-release. It literally almost nothing has changed. You're basically just upscaling everything into 4K and you're getting both the good and the bad with that particular re-release. One thing that was always kind of odd to me was that Dark Alliance and Dark Alliance 2 were never actually added to Xbox's backwards compatibility list. So even though fans have been asking for this for years, we're actually getting it as a re-release, so take that for what it's worth. Now, another thing I really don't like is that it feels kind of like a cash grab because of that, because it wasn't actually added to the backwards compatibility list, if I could, spit that out properly. But you're essentially looking at, it was never added to the list, and now it's being re-released at, $30. And the only thing that was different is that it's upscaled to 4K. So you're not really getting a lot for your money if you already owned that particular product in the past. Another thing I don't really like is there's just random bugs still present. And I don't know if these were in the original game or not, but there's just really weird things that are going on in this. So if it was a re-release and it was just basically upscaled, potentially some of those same bugs ended up just being transplanted over. Again, I'm not particularly sure if that was the case, but there are still bugs present in this particular game. Now, one thing that kind of goes to both what I don't like and what I do like is it's exactly as I remember it. It's still fun, but it's also relatively old. You're looking at like 20 years now? Came back in like 2001, I think it was? So it's still relatively old even by today's standards, but you're looking at it's exactly as it was. And that brings me into what I actually do like about this particular game. And the first thing is it has couch co-op, so for you dads out there that have kids that are able to play video games at this point, you're able to play this with them. And it's one of those things to where it's relatively simple, it's not overly complex, and it's something that you can just enjoy. So for you dads out there, that's definitely a bonus. Another thing I really like about this game is that the story is still a good time. The story is still something I actually enjoy. So if you didn't get a chance to play it clear back in the day and you have a chance today, it's definitely something from a story perspective that I would encourage you to go and check out. Another thing I really liked, at least on the Xbox side of things, is I played this across both the Series S and the Series X. And regardless of which system I was playing it on, my save game just appeared and I can go ahead and just start playing it. So if I ended up playing it in the living room where my Series X is, I could go upstairs where the Series S is and take off right where I left off. Another thing I really like is when you're loading into a new area and you see the little loading screen, it's almost non-existent. Sometimes it can't even actually say the whole word loading before it actually loads into the next area. So from that perspective, loading is actually pretty slick. And then if you have quick resume, then it's almost instantaneous getting back into the action on it. And again, this was a con, but it's also a pro. It's exactly as you remember it. So If you have fond memories and you enjoyed playing it back then, you'll definitely enjoy it now. But again, it's the same thing. And that brings me to whether you should actually buy this game. No, actually, I wouldn't suggest you buy this particular game at full price. If you're going to go and spend $29.99 on this particular game, I just wouldn't suggest it. Even though that's technically less than what you would have paid in 2001, I couldn't recommend you paying full price for this particular game in 2021. So what I would suggest is either wait for a sale or for it to pop up somewhere where it's just less than that particular price, especially with the new D&D Dark Alliance coming here in about a month or so. And that's only $10 more than what this particular game is asking for. And now I want to hear from you. Is Dark Alliance a game that you actually played back in 2001, back in the day? Or is it something that you're looking forward to getting into? Make sure to put those in the comments below. Make sure to check out the video coming up next week where I'm going to start digging into Mass Effect, the Legendary Edition. So if you're a fan of that particular series, make sure to check out that video. And if you have any questions about some previous reviews that I've had, both on the PS5 and the Series X, make sure to go and watch those videos as well and leave any questions you have in those comments, and I'll see you over there.